All right, howdy folks. Should you masturbate while you're doing a porn reboot and you're trying to beat this porn habit? It's a good question. And at the root of this question is an underlying question, which is it okay to masturbate in general? There are two very opposing sides of this argument that is ongoing. One side says, masturbating is fine, it's healthy, do what your body loves, do what makes you happy, just follow your instincts, it's natural, it's normal. And on the flip side of this argument, there are millions of people all around the world, just like you and me, who have identified that masturbating with porn or without porn has taken a toll on your energy, your focus, your mind, and it's become a habit and an addiction that is so hard to break that you haven't been able to beat it on your own yet. So that right there is really what it boils down to. Should you masturbate? This is a question that ultimately you have to ask yourself. And I'm going to give you a few questions that you can answer during this video. And I'm also going to explain this cool little pyramid here that's going to explain how severe your masturbation habit is and how to wean off of it to get to the place where you're actually replacing the hit that you're getting from masturbating and watching porn. The first question that you should ask yourself to identify if your masturbation habit is a problem is, how do you feel after you masturbate? Guys, how does it feel honestly after you've done the deed? How do you feel emotionally, physically? Do you feel ready to take on the world? Do you feel ready to go on a run, to go jogging, to go to the gym, to go on a date, to go find that woman, to work on a hobby, to work on a project, to go to work? If that's you, then God bless you. Go ahead, do it. Maybe that's what gives you energy. But more than likely, I'm willing to bet my life on this, especially if you're this far in your habit, that after you masturbate, your feeling is, I can't believe I did it again. What's wrong with me? It's something like that. Of course, guys, I'm being dramatic, but my point is, if masturbation is taking away from your life, if it is subtracting your energy, your focus, your confidence, your time, if you're in a situation where you think about sex and act out with masturbation more than you'd like, then chances are you do have a problem. Let's define problem really quick. This is a big argument people have, is that, oh, masturbation is not a problem because it's not an addiction. Watching porn, on the other hand, is an addiction. Therefore, if you masturbate without porn, it's not an addiction. Well, let's define what a problem is first, and then we'll define if it's an addiction. A problem is anything that reduces from your life, anything that subtracts from your life, anything that is difficult for you to have control over, but rather it is controlling you. It is something that is affecting your life, your mental health, your body, your energy, your focus, your time, your confidence. If it's affecting that in any way in your life, then yes, it is a problem. So if something's a problem, can it be an addiction? Well, my friends, if you've identified a problem, that something that is subtracting from your life clearly to you, but you continue to use that substance and you continue to use that and go back to it, then yes, that is by definition what an addiction is. So this is a really important mental shift that you can make right now. It's not about, am I addicted to masturbation porn or am I not addicted? Am I an addict or am I not an addict? Am I just a user? That's not the point. The point is, porn masturbation is addictive by nature, and therefore you are addicted. The question is not, are you addicted? The question is, how addicted are you? So that's my next question for you guys. You've identified already that when you do masturbate, your feeling afterwards is usually deflated, depressed, kind of shameful, guilty, not really energized, not really to take on the world or start a business or go on a date or anything like that. So my question is, how has that feeling after you masturbate changed over time? If you recall the first time that you experienced masturbation with or without porn, how did you feel afterwards? If you're like most men, if you're not, that's fine. Most men, the feeling is usually, I'm willing to bet, really disturbed, scared, disgusted, kind of like you just committed a grave sin. Maybe you felt like you were possessed and you don't know what came over you. If that feeling you had at the beginning has changed from where you are right now over time, that means over the years you have climbed the addiction ladder. Masturbation has become more of a norm in your life, and your feeling afterward is usually not associated with so much guilt and shame, but actually you try to escape from that guilt and shame by either going to YouTube, to Facebook, to immediately doing something else to distract you, or even just going to more porn to escape that feeling. So if your feeling after masturbating has escalated over time, then that means the problem has become deeper. And that is why we need to wean off of the masturbation and porn habit using this pyramid that I made for you guys. At the very top, it's kind of like a food pyramid. We have the stuff that's really bad for you, the absolute worst thing you can do with your habit. This says edging, right? Edging is the practice of just prolonging the dopamine hit, prolonging the session of watching porn. You've got a lot of tabs open, you're watching for hours and hours, and you're prolonging the ejaculation so that you can experience a more intense dopamine hit. This is damaging to your brain and to your habit because you're constantly searching for more novel and more intense porn, and therefore your addiction is just climbing and escalating to the point where you're actually bored with content that you were interested in maybe a year ago or a few years ago or when you first started watching porn. So under edging, the next better thing, still not the best, is PMO, porn, masturbation, orgasm. This is slightly better. It's not the best, guys. We're not going to stop here. It's slightly better than edging because you're not prolonging that addictive cycle and that dopamine hit to the point where you need constant novelty in order to be aroused at all. This is why I often say it's better to just climax and just finish the deed instead of edge. However, that's not my point. My point is not telling you guys just go ahead and masturbate and get it over with. My point is you've got to figure out how you can get yourself to the bottom here. Number 3 on here, guys, is just masturbating without watching porn. This is usually a really good thing to wean yourself off of porn, is that when you escalate your masturbation habit in association with the sexual imprinting of watching porn and masturbating, if you disconnect and disassociate porn and masturbation, then the masturbation doesn't become as addictive and as damaging to you because you're not associating that climax with any specific type of content. So in this stage, you can actually wean off of the porn and masturbation by just masturbating in itself without thinking about anything sexual or watching anything sexual at all. And slightly better than just masturbating is the willpower method. This is where most people are operating in the NoFap community. If you go to the subreddits of YouTube, there's like 1 million people just willpowering their way through it. And the reason that they are counting the days essentially until their next slip up is because they're just willing themselves through it through just brute force. They're trying to push themselves to a specific benchmark, a milestone. And when they get there, they'll feel a sense of accomplishment and knowing that, okay, I've done it and now I can act out. It's essentially justification to keep the habit with you without actually getting rid of it at the core. And that's what this is about right here. The ultimate goal in your porn recovery journey, remember this, is to replace the hit that you're experiencing when you watch porn. You might think it's not possible. You might think that porn is just going to be something that is with you your entire life. Anytime you see something triggery online, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, you're just going to be triggered by that and go down that rabbit hole. My friends, you have trained your brain. You have tricked your brain. The porn industry has tricked your brain over many years and many sessions in believing that this act of watching porn is somehow essential to your survival as a person. It's tricking your brain and thinking that this is somehow related to sexuality and sexual satisfaction and procreation. However, the reality is that porn has absolutely nothing, zero, zilch, to do with procreation and satisfied sexuality. Nothing. In fact, porn is literally just pixels on a screen and is the opposite of sexuality in the sense that sexuality, real sex, is about connection, connectivity, give and take, conversation, communication, and porn is only isolation and subtracts from your life and doesn't add anything valuable to your life. So what do I mean by replace the hit? This is the practice of when you feel those urges, when you're climbing this escalation ladder, when you're feeling those urges, you just have that feeling like, okay, today I know I'm going to act out in the evening or tomorrow morning. I can feel it. I can feel the need to go back to my old friend. In those moments when you're struggling, you have to get into the habit of walking away and doing something else that replaces the habit. Something else that is exciting, thrilling, just as porn is artificially, something that is exciting to you, something that is thrilling to you, something that ultimately does produce a little bit of dopamine, meaning an activity that is actually essential to your survival, such as something related to money, making a living, or something related to your health, getting fit, going to the gym, working out, going on a run, or it's something related to relationships, building community, having a sense of connectivity with other people, and ultimately finding a sexual partner. So if you can do a singular habit, a behavior that replaces the need for that, in those moments where you're really face to face with an urge to act out, you stand up, you walk away, you do something else that replaces the hit. So my task for you guys is to figure out where you are on this pyramid and try to up your game, up your level to the next one. And if you find this content valuable, go ahead and smash the like button because it does help other people find this video, and I would really appreciate it because it does help me a lot. Thank you. And so the next question is, how do you replace the hit? If you start here, you can actually implement the replacing the hit anywhere on this addictions pyramid. And I'm going to give you that video, which is going to be right here, about how to replace the habit. And don't forget to subscribe because I'm putting multiple videos every single week on this channel just to keep you guys motivated. If you want to get personal with me, you can check out my website, benuyama.com, to see what's there for you. It's good to have you guys. I love you. Take care.